I interview people all around the world about love, joy, and spirituality. And it is such an honor to have so many different kind of people that is telling their story, their passion, their inspiration, and also their spiritual journey. Thank you also for the listeners that is listening to my podcast, and I hope that you get a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom from all the wonderful guests that I have in my studio. And if you want to know more about me, my name is Heidi Marja Norman, and you can find all the links below this podcast. And now I have the honor to interview and to let you get to know my guest this evening. So enjoy. Hello, my name is Heidi Marja, and I am the owner of Chakrayoga coaching. I am interviewing now a wonderful person all the way from, where are you at the moment?
I am living in Koh Pangan, Thailand, which is a special island that is built on pink crystals, pink quartz crystals. So the energy is very high here, and there's a lot of yoga and tantra and spirituality and people coming from all over the world to heal themselves naturally through these anything that you can think of happens in Koh Pangan, Thailand.
Wow, that's so nice. And can you please introduce yourself? Because when I was saying your name, I didn't pronounce it the right way.
Yeah, my name is Satyama. My surname is Lasby. And I am originally from Canada. I have lived in Koh Pangan, Thailand for the last 9 years, teaching yoga and retreats and teacher trainings in tantric yoga. And I have my own business. It's called Open to Bliss. And this basically is getting people to come to a consciousness state, knowing that we are all connected to each other, that we all have community somewhere, and that you can use practices, and that you absolutely need to have practices in order to come into higher consciousness places and evolve. So that's what I do. I help people evolve through yoga, meditation, and working deeply on tantra. This is really a passionate and unique thing that I would say that Open to Bliss does.
Yeah, nice. And I have been doing tantra now for a year, and I really love it. To the people that hasn't heard about tantra, can you tell a little bit more about it?
Yeah, well, tantra is it's enormous. It's like the universe. Essentially, it is the universe because it means to weave. It means to weave the two sides of yourself together. So, I mean, this sounds a bit passé, but if you think about ourselves as having the masculine and the feminine, then tantra and yoga really is meant to be bringing these two sides into complete harmony and balance. And so yoga is doing it in one way with, the ethics potentially of yoga, like the yamas and the niyamas as the first base. And then we go into asana, pranayama, and higher up into our meditative states. But tantra is essentially doing this as well. Like we look at the body level of tantra, and this could be considered as red tantra, like, what is my body doing in terms of purifying myself to be at a readiness state to be merging with myself or with another person. Like everybody thinks, oh, tantra, and then the mind goes towards sex. But essentially it should come towards union with the self. It's a very, very deep process that you might go through sexual things in order to come back to loving yourself, because it's so finite, it's so sacred and inexplicable also. So I say these words and I'm like, okay, well, how do I use a word that is very sensitive so that people understand that a life lesson that can happen on a tantric path can be a way of, okay, I've overcome the sexual hurdles, and then I've gone into heart based love, for example. Now I'm communing with all of the world, or with my community around me, or with my partner. And then even higher up than, you know, living from the heart would be, okay, what am I doing in connection with the divine, or connection with God, or whatever you want to call this higher plane. And that that essentially connects like what we're doing on the ground and in the body with what we are doing on the meditative place. And this is a place where, as I'm speaking from, you know, this chakra or my mind, but it's higher than that. Like when you're really, really communing on the soul level, you don't speak anymore. It's like meditation, you know? And so Tantra is bringing all of those elements of life towards a divine understanding, comprehension, experience, and like a bliss level consciousness state. So it's Tantra is doing what yoga is doing and what meditation is doing, and can be a way to explain what it is that we're doing here on this planet right now.
Yes, yes. Nice. And can you tell me a little bit about your journey to find Tantra and yoga and to live in Thailand?
Yes. So, well, I think my journey with the body is a very strong one, as I became a fitness instructor very early in my life. I was 16 years old.
Wow.
And then, yeah, like really early.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, like passionate, love everything that the body can do, what you can do with making it stronger, or food intake, or weight training, or running, cardio, whatever. Anything that you could possibly do with the physical level of body, I think I went through until I was about 20, 28, 29. And that was when I'm like, okay, now I start to look at yoga. And it was a very different perspective, as like almost like I was resisting it at first. I'm like, okay, I go to yoga class and I hate it. It's too slow. And why do they do these downward dogs and repetition and all these words and things that I don't understand? There was a big resistance there. And then as I keep doing it, many people I've heard have this, you know, I don't like yoga. It hurts. I don't, you know, but you have to keep going in order to evolve into a place where then I was like, wow, it's really changing. I'm becoming more sensitive, happier, for example. Like you start to feel what energy does, what purification can do. Weird things would happen to me in my yoga teacher training, for example, like big clearances that would come out of my yoni, for example, or I was barfing or crying, and I'm like, I don't really get what's happening, but something big is happening, you know? And that was when I'm like, I'm really onto something here. Like, I don't really know where it's going to go, but this was instead of me doing my master's, which was the choice. I become a yoga teacher or I do my master's. And I'm like, I'm just going to be a yoga teacher, you know, like that's going to be my part-time work now. And slowly, next 10 years, I'm not a fitness instructor anymore. Like there was 10 years when I was doing both. And then, and also working full time, like I was managing a department as well in a nonprofit organization. And then I'm like, now I'm at the top of my career on the normal existence. I was the executive director of a chamber of commerce. And I'm like, now I've done this for 4 years and it's repeating and I don't want to do it anymore. It's really not who I am. It's not what I'm passionate about. And I think this happens to you when you go into the study of who you are through whatever path, can be meditation, tantra, can be yoga, anything. And then it's like, well, I'm not so interested in business really, and reporting what businesses are doing and doing a lot of this work on my computer, whatnot. So I'm like, I'm going to quit and I'm going to designate my life towards meditation. And then I moved to India. That's really what I did, and studied in the Osho ashram what
Wow.
like different kinds of meditation, like active meditations, because already was doing vipassana to add to my yoga practice very strongly. But then I went to this place, and it's really a place like no other, and jumping up and down and yelling who and screaming and shaking and many different things that they were asking me to do. And as a nice Canadian, I was like, well, this place is absolutely crazy, but still all of the lessons in life, spiritual principles, how to let go of things, what was happening in my personal life, what was happening in my body. Like I smelled different even as I was doing these meditations. I'm like, again, something deeper is happening. Like I'm dropping into really what the essence of your intuition
Yeah.
might be, and really being like, okay, I'm very, very aware now because I'm with a whole bunch of other people that are finally very, very aware as well. So this was my breakthrough in learning how to live with other people in community. And when you're living with other people that are also on that in that place where you are like, oh yeah, I want to know about consciousness, then your consciousness also rises. So this was just amazing for me. And then I ended up traveling around the world for the next 10 years and teaching yoga and workshops really about meditation, women's work, how to heal the world, essentially
Yeah.
still what I'm doing. And ended up on a love trip to Bali. That didn't work out at all. And then ended up coming to Koh Pangan in Thailand. And this is really it's an interesting place of light and dark. There's lots of partying and unconscious behavior, and there's lots of people really looking to go into a natural way of healing. So it's a place where everything exists, and I am everything too. So I ended up living here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you so much. And it is amazing what a journey you have had. It's and when we are going into the path that we are following our heart, then you see that you can think that you are going one way, but then you are going like this. So you are
Yes.
so then you are doing like the yoga thing. For me, I was thinking I have to have another job. I have to have another job. So I was trying to get a new job for 6 years, but always it was like when I went to the yoga mat and did some meditation, it's yoga, it's yoga. What are you going to do? You write and do yoga, and I was what? And then the path started.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Like the more I meditated, the more I was like, I don't want to do this job anymore, and I'm just going to have trust in the universe that it's going to support me to do what I want to do. And this is changing my life so much, and I'm so focused on it. Like it's really the only thing I want to do is yoga and meditation. I don't want to be at this 9 to 5 job anymore at all.
Oh.
And then it was just like, oh, I have the ability through knowing in meditation that I'm creating everything in my life anyway. So why don't I just create a new life? And that's really, what we do, right? If you have that consciousness, you're creating every moment of your life. It's cause and effect.
Yes. And it is amazing when the third eye is opening, how you can visualize your life, and then it's happened so fast.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, and many people don't know that, right? It's like, what do you mean the third eye and ajna and having this intuition? And until you're really like, I'm gonna focus on this a lot, you don't know. And then when you do, it's like you kind of look around and you know everything. Like you don't have to justify, you don't have to speak, you just look and you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really amazing for me. I could walk around life right now not speaking, and I mean, I don't want to not speak in life, but sometimes I don't.
Yeah,
It's a bit energy wasting can be if you're again around a whole bunch of people that are, if you're on that plane together, and
yeah,
that's really amazing place
mm,
to be functioning from.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also when you connect the third eye to the heart.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when you connect any of these chakras to the
Yes,
heart, it
yes,
always comes back to that, right? It's
yeah,
like when you connect the third eye or you connect the throat to the
yeah,
heart, because then you're speaking truth, right?
yeah,
But if you're just going from like one chakra, like if you're just coming from Sadhisthana, which many people
yeah,
get stuck in the second chakra in the
yeah,
body because it's about your sensuality and your sexuality, and then that overcomes you. Like if you don't bring that up energetically, you just keep spiraling around and eat too much food and have too much sex, and it can be too much without your awareness. But if you're connecting it, like continually coming back to anahata, to the heart,
mm,
it's like, okay, I need to stop that churning around or that addictive kind of behavior, and give out. Like I'll pull back in myself, and I can fast, or I can be celibate, or whatever it is, and
mm,
then give love out in a different way, and that can transform that energy that is lower, that's preventing us from having the bliss consciousness that
yeah,
yogis are really going for.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You don't want to forget the heart.
No, no, no. Everything is connected to the heart.
Yeah.
Um, I was thinking about if someone is coming to you the first time to do some tantric yoga, um, what would you start with?
Well, it's an interesting one because I have, I work with, I speak of, I market Tantra yoga because it has an element to yoga that is not so common. Like everybody's doing yoga now.
Yeah,
And so I wanted to specialize in this because of my own interest in what is tantra, as it's so big, also hard to explain, but everybody essentially wants a great relationship, great love making, satisfaction in their communication, healing of their sex life. Like many traumas have happened
mm,
in this misunderstanding between men and women over millennia.
yeah,
And so when you add this tantric element into yoga, which is what I've done and what I've written a book about as well, it is another element that we can look at, to not just be an aesthetic yogi that forgets about the rest of life, like all I'm doing is yoga,
mm,
and you become very rigid and boring if you're
yeah,
just going to be an ashtangi, for example,
mm,
and so the tantric path would be, if somebody's coming and saying, I want to learn Tantra, I'm quite cautious of being like, well, do you want to learn about how to have sex, or heal,
mm,
or sublimate, or learn what your girlfriend wasn't able to teach you or your boyfriend didn't do?
mm,
It's really like go into the probing of what does this person think that Tantra is, because everybody thinks it's something different, you
yes,
know?
yeah,
And so people can be getting a perception of like, oh, well, for me, even, it's, well, you're tantric, so this must mean that you are polyamorous and whatnot, whatever people think. And I'm like, actually, that couldn't be farther from the truth. I'm completely monogamous. I haven't had sex in a very long time, and I'm just working on myself
mm,
because of the path that I am on in self-love. So I would equate Tantra with self-love for sure.
mm,
And then there's all these different branches that you can go out into, like what's Tantra massage, or what
mm,
is non-ejaculation for men. What does this mean? How can it create more happiness in your life, rather than just like, I want to learn tantra? And that's a warning bell, as the person wants to heal first, and that would be the first step
Mm.
of tantra. And so what's the first step? How do you heal people sexually? Go into yoga so that they know what has happened, and then they can heal themselves. That's
Yeah.
basically where the
Yeah.
path can come from. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't do it for them. Like, oh, I want to learn tantra, and I'm going to come from India, and you're going to teach me something. And I'm like, I'm really not going to teach you anything but how to do yoga in a certain kind of way, whatever it might be. And then you are going to have the realizations for your path, and then
Yeah.
it happens. Yeah.
Yes. And it is quite interesting when you are starting the yoga and tantric yoga path, that how you see how different the energy is when you start to open the energy flow.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it takes a while to learn it too. Like that patience that you need to cultivate doesn't come in one day or one class. Like it's really a pyramid that you build up because you want to. You have that passion to know something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and and it is interesting when I started my path, that I saw that for me it was the second chakra. You nailed it. It was the second chakra that was blocked, and I have even pelvis pain after birth. So I know that it is about a trauma and that sort of thing. But when you start a path, then you see how blocked you have been,
Yeah.
because when you are in it you don't see it, but it's when you start healing then you see how far you are coming.
Yeah, exactly. And isn't that the funny thing about our blockages?
Yes.
Is that we are blind to them until something shows us, until the body can show us. Like if you have pelvis pain, for many women, this happens. Like me too, something going on with my uterus, and I'm like, oh, this is so deep.
Mm.
And traumatizing, and comes up when I do medicine or when I do work on the second chakra. It's really, really there, as the body will tell you something. And then also like the soul, it'll come together in some way, being like, wow, like this is what's really gone on for me in this lifetime. Or it could be even from another lifetime,
Yeah.
if you want to go that deeply
Yeah.
into spirituality, can be this. And it's really amazing when you start to make these connections as to why everybody has something that they suffer with, right? And
Yes.
so like what undoes the mystery of this? And sometimes it can also take like someone else to point out your weak side.
Yeah.
When you have a really strong teacher or a community or something like that, and you can't see it, then this chakra can be like, do you realize that you do
Mm.
this? Or when this is open, it's like, ah, okay, I understand now more about me, or I understand more about that other person. And then we understand that everybody's a human being and that we all suffer from different things, but at least we can have the wisdom to know that we are not alone with it, and that it can resolve through practices, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's so interesting when you are talking about that different kind of things come up when you are unlocking the different kind of chakras, and
Yeah.
that is so amazing when I understand it in myself, but also when I'm helping other people
Other
unlock.
people, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I can just run my hand along someone, or I'll have them do it in a class, and just be like, well, feel your own chakras. If you're really in tune with energy, some of them feel hot, some of them feel nothing. And
Mm.
then when there's nothing, I'm like, okay, well, look at that one and
Yeah.
see if we can bring some energy there. Because I mean, you don't see chakras, right? But you can feel them,
Yeah.
if you're really sensitized.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It is also am a healer, so I feel the energy when I'm around people.
Mm.
And I started to do healing before I even know what chakras was. So I was just doing like this, and then I was, oh, this is here is something. But then I started to understand the chakras, and I was, wow, this is interesting.
Aho.
And then it started a path that has been amazing.
Beautiful. And now you just do this work with chakra yoga
Yeah,
as your life
yeah,
continues. Yeah, beautiful.
yeah. Online on on Zoom, so it is really nice. And but what is the 5 things that you have learned along the way that you want to say to the listeners?
Do you mean the 5 principles of tantric yoga, or do you mean what are 5 things I learned in my life on this path of
Oh, yeah,
spirituality?
yes, the second one. But also you can say about the tantric.
Maybe I can combine them.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, in the tantric yoga path, one thing that I would say is quite important and it is a principle of tantric yoga is called consecration. And consecration is before I start anything important, like a yoga class or making love or a project that is really important to me, I'm going to be like, okay, before I start anything, I'm going to offer this up in terms of a meditation into the divine. So I will ask the divine to bless what I'm going to do.
Yes.
And so that is tried and true. If I don't do it, the result is less. And if I do it, the result is more. And so I would say to pause before starting anything and being woo, to be really, really centered and being like, this is why I am going to do it. This is my intention of doing something. And that will make a big difference in people's lives. So this is number one thing. What's my intention? And if the intention is unclear or not there, then why am I doing it? You know? I'm not just doing things because somebody said, hey, Satyama, do you want to do this? Then I'll just like tune in and I'm like, do I want to do this? Okay, like it's coming from within me.
Yeah.
And that would bring it to the second thing that I guess I've learned in my life is to have the path be clear and to have me be happy and in my power is not to take energy from outside, but to have really trust my intuition. So if I'm finding, if I at all go outside and ask someone for their advice or check on something outside of myself, it's not coming direct from me. And so then I know I'm out of my center. So this is the journey of like, if it's coming really, really from my gut and from my, like my Manipura and my Ajna, for example, then, and it's very clear, I will do it. And if I'm going outside or I want to be social because I'm bored or whatever it might be, if I'm going to outside sources to get love, to get answers, to get anything that I think I need, then I need to not go out and come back in on the mat or into my mind. You know, so that would be the second one, is to really trust that. The third one I would say is that practices are really integral and important to success. And if a day would go by that I don't do a practice, or if I do a practice, that would always be a telltale sign of the day will be better if you do practice.
Yeah.
And so if I get up earlier and I do a yoga practice and a meditation, or I work out and I do meditation, or I even serve, like I do karma yoga and I'll offer to someone if they need help, whatever, something I'm doing like without money. This would be a good day, you know, and the result that comes back in terms of I feel good, I'm great in my body, I'm having love, versus if I'm taking something or I don't do my practice, or if I'm lazy, then that would be a result of I'm not so happy. So practices would be a really important thing in life to and worthy of time. And then I know if I'm being lazy, and I know what laziness does. I would say the fourth thing that I have learned is to be softer. You know, like I do come into the talking about masculine and feminine, is that I teach a lot. And so the teaching part or the giving out part is the masculine side of everyone, every woman, every man. And that is so developed in me over the years of being a teacher. I lead groups all the time. And I'm basically trying to share knowledge with others. If I can come back into balancing that out with elements of surrendering or soft touch for myself, something that is not giving out, but receiving in a way, then, or even the delivery of my message. For example, I can be super straight and hard, and if I can just find a way to be softening that, then probably the world would respond to me in a softer way. You know, like that directly what you put out is what you get back. That's the fourth principle, you know. And so to have that awareness all of the time, like how is this being perceived, what kind of energy am I giving it, then that will be reflected as a mirror in life. And then the fifth one I would say would be to go into finding balance with doing and with integration. Because sometimes, especially in Europe or in the Western world, is we do, and then in the Eastern world, like living in Thailand, for example, I mean, Thai people are not doing all the time. They are basically like existing in the present moment. And so if there's a period of activity that is very strong, then this should balance your life out, or my life out, by a period of meditation or inactivity or rest, so that it doesn't come to a place where the universe is just going to slap you in whatever part of your body or life needs to be slapped and tells you. Like it's a good way to find balance in life on your own, because if you don't, through awareness and through practice, then the universe will just give you a situation that makes you do it anyway. The integration part or the stopping part, or whatever it takes to slow down, this will be forced, as opposed to you doing it in a gentle, loving way for yourself. So yeah, that would be it. And I try to put all of that like in teaching a class, you know, so that you can really understand that what we do on the yoga mat is what you can do in your life.
Yeah, yes, and it's so true. And thank you so much for reminding me to do the first thing that you said, that when you have something that you want to do, like I want to have my book on Amazon, I have to make to the divine.
A consecration, right?
Yeah, I have to do it. So thank you so much. And all the other great advices, I was like, yeah, it's so true, and it's so good, and it is so important, really important. And you were talking a little bit about your book. Can you tell me a little bit about what's the title? Where can we find it?
Yeah. Well, I want to show it to you first.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
So yeah, I just actually launched this book last week. It's called The Tao of Tantric Yoga. So I finished it. Yay!
Nice.
Yeah, and then I got copies printed because people were saying, you know, I just don't want to read this on a Kindle. I want a hard copy of your book, Satyama.
Yeah.
And I'm like, me too. I want hard copies too. So the Tao of Tantric Yoga is basically it's an in between a biography and a teaching of my life and lessons that I have gone through, especially as a woman on a spiritual path and as a teacher, and what I've experienced like in my personal life, because your personal life is really reflective of everything else, right?
Yeah.
And so I put in like stories of lovers I've had, of relationships. It's very vulnerable.
Yeah.
And also like, yeah, what can I do on the yogic path to be a really true yogi, because I have been such a yogi in my life and a meditator. But also like tantra is such a thing that is misunderstood. I would say I'm also a tantric. I'm aspiring so much for love and what people want, amazing union, connection with God, connection with a partner and everything. So I've really tried to merge my yogic life, my spiritual path, and my sex life. Is like my sex life can be so so everywhere, you know. Like, okay, like I'm on doing this and then I'm doing this, I'm dating this kind of person and whatever. And so I've tried to use the book as a way to know how practices can help people that are onto this path of love, I would call it. And that's the self path of love. And then once you go into the self so much, you might be ready for a really good relationship, like what you have told me, is that you fell in love. Okay, how do we continue to rise into love now that you have felt like, okay, I fell into it? That's just the first step, right? It's like, okay, now we need to communicate well, and we need to be on the same plane of learning, and we need to show each other our mirrors and to be quite honest with what's happening inside. Otherwise the love won't stay. So it's a very deep path and a journey into intimacy, I would say. Is that why I wrote it? Is like, for every woman in the world and every man in the world that's ever struggled with a relationship and they're on a spiritual path, is what I've tried to put into this book. So I hope people do yoga and meditation to understand it, because if you don't, it's a hard thing to understand.
Yeah, and you said that you have it on, you can buy it on Amazon.
Amazon, yeah.
Yes, and it's you can also is it also a audiobook?
I have not made it into an audiobook. That's the next step. You know, I'm going to be recording it probably in a month or so. But because I just launched it last week in person, I'm using this month to keep bringing it out so that people visit opentobliss.com, which is my company. And also Thailand will open up again, I would say in the fall, so that people will continue to come and visit Thailand and have these really sacred experiences through being in person and being in a group and understanding tantric yoga. And then if you want to go onto Amazon and order it as like a Kindle version, it's on there. You can read it like that, or you can get the hard copy of it as well.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So I wish you luck with your book.
Yeah, and I really want to have it on Amazon. I have struggled to get it there because of some documents, but when I'm putting it out to the divine,
which you're going to with your next consecrating experience and your intention.
Yeah, yes. But I have thought that it wasn't ready yet, but it's maybe that I have said to my mind. Yeah.
I mean, I have the book in hard copy now, and I still think it's not ready. You know, it's like it's been edited 18 times, and it's still at a place where I'm like, is that really what I wanted to say? But
Yeah.
then you just have to let it go, right? Okay, I put this out there, and hopefully people get something out of it. And if they do, I'm grateful.
Yeah. And also I'm thinking it's so, maybe it's bad language, maybe I have explained it too badly, and then you are starting to make some.
Yeah. These are just stories, you know. I explain it the best I can, and I mean, there's many layers of accepting what people are saying on a spiritual path. Because I remember when I was reading books about tantra like 20 years ago, I was like, what is this person talking about? Like, as if I would sit in front of my partner and just look at him and say that's tantra. It really is. But that level of security within myself was not developed yet
Mm.
to really do it. If the person is at all insecure, Tantra will really test you. And this book will test you as well, because I make many suggestions as to things that you can do on yourself and as a couple. And if you're not ready to try it and be looking really stupid, you're going to be like, nah, and judge it. But you'll learn in the spiritual path that like judgment is just a waste of time.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
That's so true. Yes, it's so true.
because everything's experiential to where you're at in your evolution.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
is. And I think I was 16 or 16 or 17 years the first time I saw Tantra in a magazine. And then I started to to cut it out of the magazine and put it in a in a,
Wow.
yes, because I was really interested in it because of the energy and that sort of thing. But I didn't understand that it was a part of my spiritual journey then. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, yeah, me too. And I would read books but I wouldn't do anything with the information. I would just read the book and go, okay. But it's more like it's so many layers that we go through to actually have an authentic tantric experience.
Hmm.
Is so divine and so inexplicable that I wish it for everybody, but I know very few people actually have it in authenticity with a divine download, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And when you are starting to do tantra, you want you don't want to go back.
No, because then it's just on a sometimes a very physical level, which is not what Tantra is at all, you know. So if you can get beyond the fact that we have a physical body, and that's like the vehicle that holds our soul within this world right now, that we need the body, it tells us lots of things, but that we can go beyond the body, then the understanding comes, like, of energy and things that you can't really explain, but it's so special and so refined that that you wouldn't forget it. Yeah, it's sort of
Yeah.
like, okay, I had this tantric experience, or I had a tantric orgasm and it was all by myself. You know, it was like, wow, that was really profound, and I never knew that that was possible.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I was curious. You had something. You have a tattoo in your hand.
I do.
Yeah, I did. I see it. Yeah, nice. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Because it is
Yeah.
important for you.
It's you know, it's the Eye of Horus, which essentially I have known since I was in the 6th grade, for some reason, that I have had a past life being Egyptian.
Mhm.
And I don't know how I knew this, I just kind of know. So I've been wearing a ring of the Eye of Horus for a long time. And in one meditation, I guess, retreat that I was doing, I kept looking at this green Tara who's got an eye here and also an eye on the bottom of her foot. which I can show you. I also have.
Okay.
And so when I sit in meditation, I can sometimes visualize that I am Tara, green or white, and this is essentially a bodhisattva giving love out to the universe or out to my students. So when the students are in a very deep state of samadhi or just in shavasana, or we're really going through a profound journey together, then I will attempt to embody that energy of the tantric goddess and give as best as I can a blessing to the group or to that particular individual. So that's what it's essentially used for. Is that. But Horus is like courage and a whole bunch of things, that power and whatnot. But it's really, for me, it's a sign of like the bodhisattva giving love.
Wow. Nice. So nice. It has been so fun to get to know you and to have you on this interview. If you would say one thing to the listeners that you have learned, what would that be that you haven't said?
One thing that I have not said. Go into psychedelic journeys after you have done a lot of self-work and not before. Do not try to take the short path to get anywhere. Always go with the path that is long, slow, and revealing, because a short path will cut you off from deeper, profound insights.
Yes, thank you so much. It has been so lovely to have you here on this podcast today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure speaking with you and also getting to know you. I hope you come to Thailand sometime.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Well, look me up. Opentobliss.com is my website. I would be happy to let you know more about this island and how to get here and what is offered here.
Oh, thank you so much. And to all the listeners, have a beautiful day wherever you are in the world.